Wow, Jeremy, did you get a notification? 8:13. What time is it? It's huh. That was quick, Jeremy. That was quick. Or did Jeremy see a notification? Jeremy, you still here? Is it just me and you, Jeremy? Just the two of us? There's no real. I'm gonna sharpen. No, I'm not gonna sharpen this. I'm curious. I bet I could sharpen it. So, what's everybody up to this morning? Notifications went out, refresh popped up before you actually went live. Yeah, that's weird because I set it up and then I was like, oh, I got to do a couple things. And I was like, I wonder if they get notifications then. And I was like, huh. And so the second I hit go live, you were already there. I don't have a knife in my pocket this morning, guys. I'm not gonna lie, I am still in my pajamas. I was up late last night talking with a couple people. Not here in the States, I was talking to a couple people in Europe, which means that it was late by the time I got done. But there's a couple people that are interested in the the sea snake, the Warncliffe blade. And the problem is I don't have any more material to make them out of. So I'm trying to figure out how to get those as a production model. Because I really don't necessarily want to make knives, guys. That never was the thing. It's a hobby. It's fun to do it every once in a while. Oh, shit, I gotta send that stuff off for sheath. I did not make it to the post office yesterday. We had other things come up. My wife's car is making a weird noise. I figured out what it was. Told you guys I was basically taking the day off yesterday. Wife's car is making a funny fucking noise. Figured out what it is. There's a plastic plate that apparently they didn't know how to put it back on when they changed the oil last time. They just let the fucking thing hang from like one bolt. And so when you're driving, it drags. When you're backing up, it catches on stuff. So I was trying to figure out how to get that taken care of, but I can't get up underneath my wife's car. And part of it's because I'm fat, but the other part is that thing is so fucking low. So, got that. We at least got that figured out, and then we had to go pick my daughter up. She has a season pass. One of her good friends bought her. Their parents bought her a season pass for SeaWorld because she goes with their friend, and the thing is with their passes they can get a visitor pass, a free pass pretty much every time with the package they have set up. But the problem is it's such a pain in the butt to wait in line that long. So our friend Roger just bought to save himself time and trouble, he just bought my daughter a season pass for SeaWorld. And so they go together to SeaWorld occasionally, and so they were at SeaWorld yesterday. And then the wife and I did a bunch of stuff here at the house. I got a bunch of stuff set up with my bank and things like that. What's up, Cody? And so that was how I spent the day yesterday. Then we had to go pick her up at SeaWorld. And so we picked her up at SeaWorld, took her friend home. We left the house here at like 5. We didn't get home till like almost 8. So don't be surprised, guys, if this winds up being short because I have some stomach issues going on, guys. I ain't gonna lie to you. If I fucking just like, hey guys, gotta go. I don't know if it's something I ate at the county fair or stuff I had the other night. I don't know what the fuck. What apology? Who apologized? Don't know. Didn't watch. TBS. Here's the thing. Let me guess. Is it about Rockwell? And are they going to come out and say that they fucking had stuff independently tested at a separate facility and it didn't test the same as they tested it the first time? Because I was suspecting that to happen, because that's what I said when I said that there was only one data point, one person doing the testing, one whole thing. That was my whole point. I'm not saying the guy doesn't know what he's doing. I'm just saying that I was expecting something like that to happen. That it would go out to a secondary testing facility, an independent testing facility that has no stock in it, and it was going to come back wrong. One of them was going to be way different than the other, is what I was expecting. And they could get that same result with their secondary test. Yeah, that's kind of what I was expecting would happen. I was expecting that, because here's the thing. They could then take that data that they got from, who'd you say they sent it to? Peters? They took the same stuff to Peters. You could take that stuff from Peters and take it to another testing facility and get a different result. That's the problem with it. And the thing is, like, you're not going to get, everybody thinks that their heat treat is so super consistent, but it's never going to be like that. There's going to be spots. Let me find a better knife to demonstrate this on. One of mine. We use one of mine. It's going to be softer in the middle. Possibly softer in the middle than it is in the edges. So, yeah, okay, it was one of the knives, but what I'm saying is I kind of saw that coming. I figured they were gonna, my ears itch. Pardon me for doing my own personal hygiene on camera, but my ear itches just right inside and I can't get my, oh, there it is. Oh. I'm not saying that the guy doesn't know what he's doing or anything like that. I'm just saying there's so many variables, and the way a test is conducted as per like an ASTM or something like that is completely different. There's 6 people here and only 3 likes. Which one of y'all forgot to like my video? You don't have to, it's a joke. So, I had to fix a knife yesterday. The tip on this knife was so wrecked. This is a Mordax that Nico had picked up, and I think I'm not sure if he's gonna keep it or try and sell it, but the edge on it was wrecked. The tip was completely rounded over. I had to do a tip repair on this. Take off a lot of material. So, let me see. I'm gonna sharpen. I got some sharpening to do this morning. I have to finish some stuff. Peter's knife is here. I've got to get it sharpened and shipped because it's a birthday present for somebody else. I've got to get the Caribs. The Carib or the Con? Because the Carib was the original one that Elliot. Are you talking? Are you talking the Farron Forge Carib? Because I've only ever seen one. I know a guy that owns one, and it's the only one I've ever seen. So I wouldn't know. I would say, if rarity leads to price increase, yeah, okay. So because the Con is its cousin. Fuck, I wouldn't even know what, I wouldn't even not even know what to guesstimate what that would be. Hang on a second, guys. I gotta get something. I've got my slippers. The floor is hard. I'll be right back. My feet hurt. Ha, there we go. I have to address something. I saw Luke Albert is looking for one. Yeah, I don't know if, so yesterday when I did the video, now Pip sent these to me. I don't know if you guys saw the Spacers video. Pip sent this to me, and then everybody was immediately, my friends that had seen videos, I don't spend a lot of time on an Instagram group chat looking at stuff. So apparently Pip had showed that this tool is supposed to go in like this and push down in. I thought that this was supposed to be something that you got up underneath and they could pull it up, and I just couldn't figure out why I was having such a hard time with it. The tool goes in the slot, and then you push it down in, and then you can pull it back out with this tool in your space. I mean, either way, it didn't matter to me because of the way I had to do it. I still would have had to do it that way because mine's not a case that's designed for. But it works pretty well. All my stuff is pretty even now. So if you're interested in those, go to Instagram at Pip Corona, and you can order them. Like I said, he's doing a set of 5. You can pick different sizes, different thicknesses and stuff like that. He'll do a set of 5 for 25 bucks. So, and I talked to Tim Reeve this morning. He just had been real busy and hadn't answered me back. He said he would be more than willing to let me borrow a Sebenza 31, but they don't have any ready yet. They are finishing up the orders of the 21s, and so it's going to be a little while. He said it could be a while before the 31s start hitting anything. He said, though, Vegas, because I am going to USN in Vegas, as well is Tim, we may talk about this. I may just pin him down and talk about the Sebenza 31 versus the 21 and just look at differences with Tim. Because last year in Vegas, we talked to Matt a lot and Tim was busy. I talked to Tim off camera a lot. And guess what? I freaking forgot and just realized today is the 2nd of July. It is my mother's birthday. I am the worst child ever. I forgot my mother's birthday. I didn't even get her anything. God damn it. I guess I'll call and wish her a happy birthday and tell her I'm sorry I don't have anything for you. God damn it. Fuck. The funny thing is my sister and I were just talking about it. Here's the thing, after I had that head trauma, I can't remember my birthday. I know my dad's birthday was in April. I know my mom's birthday is in July. My sister's birthday is August 8th or 10th. I had a bad head trauma. I can't remember dates. Like, I can't remember my daughter's birthday. If it wasn't a password for certain things, like stuff that's not critical, but stuff I use a lot, I would never remember my daughter's birthday. I remember our anniversary because it's real simple. It's 3/3. And I still miss it. I'm warming this coffee up. So, nah, it's not, I didn't used to be. It's just I know my birthday, but I forget, like, it'll pass and it won't even register. I know it's August 30th, but like phone numbers, things like that. After I had that head trauma, I can't remember strings of numbers. I can't remember dates. Not even stuff that I wanted to remember from history. Like, I used to know specific dates in history of things that occurred. They're gone. They're gone. I lost those. And apparently I damaged that part of my brain that allows me to maintain dates and numbers and things like that. Because if you give me a phone number, I'm not gonna fucking remember it. If I don't write it down, I won't remember a phone number from here to my front door. Like, if I have to walk across the room to get a pin, yeah, I had that really, really bad concussion. I woke up and, well, I did too, even after cell phones. I could tell you quarter deck number, I could do all that stuff. I could fucking rattle off fucking phone numbers for anything you wanted to know. I can't anymore. After I had that head trauma, that went away. My wife gets up so early. By the time I actually get up and doing things, the coffee pot's already off, and I have to warm my coffee up. So this is the last week. I fell basically the equivalent of falling 3 stories and damaged a bunch of shit. And with that was a head trauma. I was in the hospital for a while. I almost got taken out of the military because of that. Because they were like, I wound up on limited duty, and I was gonna lose my orders, and they were like, gonna process me out and stuff like that. And I told them, I was like, I can I can heal up from this. And they're like, you broke your neck, and I was like, I know, but no, I was working. I fell down a ladder on a ship. Navy ships are an inherently dangerous place. Imagine an industrial work zone, like a serious industrial work zone, like anything you've seen in a movie where there's a lot of work materials and moving parts and dangerous shit going on. All right, now imagine that, but put bedrooms in it. That's what a Navy ship is like. There are so many things on a ship that want to kill you. That's my wife is like, do you ever want to take a cruise? And I'm like, absolutely fucking not. I wouldn't know what to do. I would not know what to do with myself on a ship like that. Because I would go on a ship and I would immediately go into work mode. And I'd be like, all right, it's time to work. Don't get me wrong, I love being on a ship. There is nothing better than fucking getting rocked to sleep by the fucking sea. Oh my God, it's great. The best sleep I ever got was on a Navy ship. Some of the best sleep. I would actually go when I had no work to do. I would get home. So I spent so much time on the ship, and the ship would spend so much time underway. There's a lot of times I would come home and be home for a few weeks and couldn't sleep because nothing moved. And I would go in on a Saturday, really early in the morning. I mean, I would leave my house at like midnight on a Saturday. I'm like, I gotta get some sleep. And I would literally go to the ship and crawl in my rack, in my bed, and I would go to sleep, and I would sleep so well. And one of the most fucked up things, my first ship was right against the main machinery rooms. And so when I pick a space on the ship, I wanna have something that's loud, because all I heard forever through the bulkhead was this loudspeaker. And you'd hear that through the bulkhead, through the wall. Every ship I went to, I found the one that was the closest to the main machinery room, and I would lay down. People were like, oh, why you want that one? It's right up against the MMR. I was like, I know. And I'd hear that. I'm like, yeah, it's bedtime. Sleepy time. Sleepy time. I swear to God, I need to fucking put a goddamn lawnmower in my bedroom and just run it all night so I could sleep like a baby, and then just have somebody rock my bed back. Just rock my bed like this, put it on a roller, and rock my bed real gentle like this, and then turn the lawnmower on so I can go to sleep. You want to simulate sleeping on a Navy ship? Sleep underneath your coffee table. Put a mattress underneath your coffee table and sleep under it. 14 people, 7 likes. It's fucking... I would sleep like a baby like that. So anyway, like I said, Tim said that these are... They haven't even done... They have to clear out orders for the 21s. They have to clear out orders for the 21s before they start the 31s. So he said it's going to be a little while, but like I said, we'll probably talk about that there. I like Tim. I like Tim a lot. Tim fucking he texted me. He's like, "Damn, I meant to talk to you about this a couple days ago," and I was like, "That's not a big deal." And so, like I said, they're not gonna have that. And then I am going to reach out to We Knives today, so I'll probably have a response tomorrow as to a time frame for when the actual Hornets are being released. I mean, I should know. I'll know before you guys because I'll get production samples. So I have I'm absolutely fine with it right now. I have not got a lot of work in. I've got a bunch of email correspondence that has you know spent a lot of time doing a lot of email correspondence like every day. I think I sent maybe 8 or 10 emails this morning. You do that a lot, and out of those 8 or 10 emails, I will probably see maybe one customer. That's the thing. I wish I could get more of a consistent. People contact me, and then it turns into actual business. And you know, when I was telling a guy earlier this week, I told him I can't charge you, what it actually would cost for what I'm doing right now. I had worked on his knife for a long time, and I was like, I can't charge you what it's actually gonna be worth, bro. But I was like, I did all this extra work, and I was like, I told him, I was like, how about we work a deal out? I worked all night, Friday night. I stayed at the shop until almost 5 in the morning, and then went home, drank some coffee, took a shower, because the only reason was I sat down in a chair and realized I could smell myself, and I was like, oh wow. So I basically worked all night. I went home just to take a shower and knew I was going back up to the shop Saturday. So I came home, took a shower, and went right back to work on stuff up at the shop. So when like this guy's stuff that I was doing this extra long tumble and shit on, normally I told him, I was like, normally I charge like an extra $50 for that because I have to, I got to drive home. I got to come back up the next day, check on it. If it's not ready, I got to put it back in the tumble and then come back in the afternoon and check it. I said, but I'm going to have to make multiple trips to the shop. Well, it just worked out that I worked from like noon on Friday until 6 p.m. on Saturday. So I had plenty of time to get his stuff. So I didn't charge him like an exorbitant amount. I charged him like maybe $30 for the extra tumble. And he was like, wow, that's what I was like, because I didn't have to drive back up. I was already going to be up here anyway. I was planning on doing so many other things. So I do like to try and, as much as the people on Reddit that have that forum on Reddit where they hate me, that they're like, he charges like $35 a knife, and then he's going to tell you it's fucking more because there's an issue. There's a lot of times that I don't charge anything for any additional work because I would rather have a customer return than make a bunch of money off a single customer. Most of my customers are return customers. Most of the people that I talk to are people that I have talked to numerous times that have large knife collections and things like that. Yeah, there's a subreddit where basically I am a meme. And you know what? I don't fucking care. Because the whole thing is like that. That's what I was saying. I can't talk to anyone that's like anybody that's younger than like 20. 18 to 25. I don't know how to talk to people like that anymore. People think things go the way they think it goes. So I have got one guy that I told I would not ever work with again. I told this guy, I was like, I'm not going to do anything for you ever again. Just don't even call me. Like, I fixed so many issues for you, told you exactly what you're doing wrong, and then you turn around and you do exactly what I told you not to do. The guy was complaining about a knife, and I'll be damned if I don't. Yeah, this one has a lock bar. So this one has a lock bar insert, and so this guy was complaining. He's like, well, what is it he said? He said the lock bar tension was too tight. And so what he did was he loosened his lock bar insert, and then he got all this weird blade play. And he goes, "Well, I don't understand." I was like, "I can tell you exactly why. Now you've changed the position of your lock bar insert where it interfaces the blade. Yes, you're going to have blade play." And I told him, I was like, I fixed it for him. I was like, I wouldn't do that again because you can, that's a short screw anyway. You get that thing out and then you strip it off. And I told him, and then he sold a couple knives to people that I had just repaired he's like, "I got lock rock and this and that," and I adjusted stuff for him. He's like, "It slips now," and I was like, "It's because you keep loosening that lock bar insert." And I told him, you shouldn't do that. You should never do that because that lock bar insert's meant to be tight against the lock bar. And sure as shit, I had people contact me, knives that he sold that I had just repaired, he loosened the lock bar again because he's like, "Well, it makes it easier to disengage." I was like, "You're going to ruin that knife. You're going to damage your lock bar insert to the point where you've knocked a corner off that you need, or you're going to kick it off to the side and you're going to strip the heads off or the threads off that screw because there's very few threads holding that anyway. If you loosen that, it's a real short. It's like maybe 2 threads holding most lock bar inserts. You loosen that out and you'll strip that real easy." Couple people was like, "Hey man, do you know this guy? I bought this knife from him. Man, it's got lock." I was like, "Tighten the lock bar insert. Tighten the lock bar insert screw and see if that fixes it." The guy's like, "Dude, like fucking both of them were like that." And I was like, "Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me." The knives that I was dealing with were not. They had some fairly coarse threads. I mean, they were big threads, but there was only a couple of them. I cannot. I pull this out of my case and then I fucking forget. I realize how much I still love this knife. This is another one of those ones that the woohoo factor never wore off. Never has. I sold a Sebenza once. Swore I would never do it again. Because I sold it and then I was like, "Oh, I sold it." And mine was beat the fuck up and I still was able to sell it for, I think I sold it for $300. That you should never have to. The only reason that you should touch a lock bar insert is if you're doing shit like I am, where you're taking that knife completely down so you can re-anodize it. And then I had somebody try to tell me you can replace the lock bar insert that I didn't know what I was talking about stop pin. I don't like the small Sebenza. It's too small. But for me, I got really big hands. That's a full-size Sebenza in my hands. So I would not want a small Sebenza. That's what a regular size Sebenza looks like in my hand. So a small Sebenza is just not enough. So yeah, I had a guy argue it and he was like, that's not how companies. I did the thing talking about oversizing stop pins. He goes, "That's not how they do it. They put a new lock bar insert in." I was like, no, they don't. You know who does that? No one. No one. You know how I know this? Because I've talked to a lot of people. The easiest way, instead of trying to fucking put in a new lock bar insert, trying to fucking find one to get in a bunch of different lock bar inserts. Is it like the Gent? Is what like the Gent? What are we talking about? Somebody said something about... The small Sebenza? The small Sebenza is about like... I moved my case. Yes. I just explained that I put them in backwards. They still work. I mean, because my case is soft, real soft. Nothing Fancy had what? Oh, yeah. Okay. I used to watch, not at all Busney's channel. The guy has a good channel. The Nothing Fancy Project. TNP. I used to watch the Nut and Fancy Project, but then I realized that like some of his ideas, it's not so much that. You know what really put me off? Like I know you guys know that I talk about the fact that I'm a veteran and I tell stories and stuff about it, but God, how do I say this without sounding? How do I say this without sounding like a condescending prick? I really don't want to. How do I say it? He plays the military card way, 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 way too hard. Way too hard. Like the three-letter acronyms and all of that. And everybody's like, oh, yeah, he's like, and I was like, you know what? He was in the Air Force as a reserve pilot. And yes, I get it. Yeah, like he flew planes and he flew fuelers and stuff like that. But the fact is, like, not trying to pick on Air Force guys, Cody. I'm really not. But it's the way that he just played. And I was like, all joking aside, this the Air Force guys that I do know are great, but I do look at it a lot like a lot of people do, that if you were in the Boy Scouts, you were closer to being in the military than you were in the Air Force. You know, that's just one of those. That's just one of those. It's funny, but they're completely different. They are not like, I don't think the Air Force is military. I don't think of the Air Force as a branch of the military. I think of the Air Force as a privatized agency that the fucking military uses. And it's because it is that much drastically different than the other branches of service. It is more like a civilian corporation or a civilian company that's an outsource to the military. That's when I watch military. Not saying that that's bad. Like if you can get into the Air Force, that's a good gig. But the thing is, it just doesn't. It never seemed like military. It just seemed like a bunch of civilians that were forced to wear, the same gear. I'm not saying not important. They provide a vital role. I'm just saying it doesn't. I don't look. I look at the Air Force and the Coast Guard as kind of the same thing. For years, Coast Guard, and they may still be, is a branch of the Department of Transportation. And then, during wartime, they fall under. So the Air Force does fill a really, really vital role. I just think that it's not treated like other branches of the service. It really isn't. It has its own. You got the Army, you got the Navy, you got the Marines, but then you've got the Air Force, which is so much different, drastically different. And it's just not a bad thing. They treat their guys really well, but yeah, fucking his back to the Nut and Fancy thing that I was getting at is he takes it so far with the military stuff and the over the top, the acronyms and all that. And I was like, bro, you were a reserve pilot. You weren't even like a Navy reserve pilot where you did a lot of crazy shit. You were an Air Force guy that worked a fueling rig. I mean, which branch would be it? I would love to say the Marines because it's that fucking Navy Marine Corps thing. But the fact is that the Marines are a branch of, they're a part of the Department of the Navy. It's got to be the Army. The Army would be. Here's how it always worked. The Air Force takes who they want because they got the highest pick. They can pick. The Navy and Marines will take folks that are, Navy Marines. We'll take a lot of folks, but we have a limit. And then you've got so you have the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marine Corps, Navy. I mean, and so if you can't get into the Air Force and then you can't get into the Navy or the Marines, the Army takes who's left. Like, can you hold this? Yeah. Can you hold this and not go cross-eyed? Yeah. You're in. Can you spell your own name? Okay, that's good. Can you tie your own shoes? Okay. That's it. You're in. And you passed the test. because it's just a lot like that. Do you have to pay attention to close your mouth while you're breathing? When someone else is talking to you, do your lips move? Yes? Get out. You ever notice that? Like, it's always the guys that are like, it's always the guys that you're questioning their intelligence. When you're talking to them, their lips are moving. You're like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are your lips moving while I'm talking? You ever notice that? Am I the only one that notices that? Now, I let old people get a pass because I know that old people's brains have just so many years, they've lost a lot of the elasticity. Here's the thing, I love my Marine Corps buddies. I got some really good friends that are in the Marines. I've got guys that I've known. I've got guys that I stay in touch with that were, because my first ship was, my first two ships were amphibs, amphibious assault ships. We would take Marines to the beach. That was our job. And so we had Marines embarked all the time, 600, 800, sometimes 1,000 Marines embarked on board. On top of the fact that we had a 300 to 400 man crew. So you're looking at, you know, it gets real crowded real quick, and you have to share a lot of the same spaces. And so you get to know the Marines, especially when the same group of Marines deploys with you numerous times. So it makes it fun. You learn some different leadership skills from the Marines that you don't get from the Navy guys, and you can pick them up, and it's always fun to learn something about how different people do their like discipline and leadership and things like that. The Marines, if you can pick up what the Marines do, you should be golden. Your guys will listen to you, or they think they're going to die. So, who else here? We got 12 people here. Who else here? What may I do for you, Mr. Williamson?
So there's this fucking dog that you know.
Oh, the Bobby?
He can't go to camp because he just tested positive for hookworms or some shit. Is there any way that you could dog sit this dog today?
Is my dog gonna get poop worms? No. I don't see why not. If can you bring the dog to me?
I can have him make the bring the dog to
Yeah, because I wasn't planning on going anywhere today. I've got stuff that I'm working on. You're actually in my live feed right now.
Excellent.
Excellent. So yeah, Chase Boatwright said, "Hey, Elliot. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I'm not going anywhere. Yuka likes the dog, so as long as he doesn't like take a big steam and shit in the middle of the couch, I think everything will be good."
He's actually way more mellow than he used to be.
Is he? Okay, cool. Yeah, just give Amanda my phone number.
It's really mellowed him.
Yeah, just I don't have a problem with it, and I'm pretty sure Yuka won't. I'll just let her know it's for the day. Plus, they're going ice skating and all that shit. So, God, I don't know if I'm even gonna fucking see him today. So,
Alrighty, sir.
all right.
I know you've done it before. Can you text me your address?
Yes, I can do that. I will do that momentarily. All right.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
No problem. Later.
Bye.
Bye. Sorry, guys, I had to take that. There's only a couple people that I have to take calls when they call, and Elliot's one of them, so I have to text him my address. Guys, I'm probably going to end this. You know, I can do it real quick. Can you hold on one moment? One moment. Can you stick with me, guys? Hey, look, 11 people, only 7 likes. I will be right back. Hang on. Momentarily. Okay, I'm back. Cody, maybe you or Mike could tell me which branches have what special force groups. Okay, so the Army, you've got the Rangers, the Green Berets. The Marines have got Force Recon, and Marines have Force Recon, and another one called MARSEC, which is also falls under Special Forces. And then you've got Air Force have PJs, Ravens. Is CCT, is Raven now CCT? Hey, Joshua. 12 people, 8 likes. Marines have Force Recon. Yeah, I said that. CCT, is that the same as Ravens, Cody? Because I know that Raven was part of Air Force Special Forces. I actually went to Raven school and did not pass. Navy has SEALs, Navy has EOD, Navy has SBU. Those all fall under Special Forces. And then there's what used to be Delta, which was like a group. So Delta wound up being a group of different operators. I think they call it ACE now, as opposed to Delta Force. It's not called Delta anymore. It's called ACE. It's the same thing, but Delta was not just all Army, was it? They're all good at their own specific thing. That's why you have them. The SEALs are good at just a general all-around fucking assault, they handle so many different things. They are so similar, but they each have their own specific specialty training and things like that, so. Yeah, it is an Army program, and it is not Delta anymore. I'm pretty sure that the last I heard they had changed the name to ACE or something along those lines. So, I don't know. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to get distracted. Bobby, our friend Amanda's dog, is coming over to stay. You guys remember seeing Bobby in a couple videos. So, yeah, guys, I have some sharpening to do today. But most of what I'm doing today is going to be interacting. And I have got to figure some stuff out with some customers. So I have stuff that I have yet to get paid for that I have got to get done. So that you guys know, I am being really, really strict about the payment up front. So when stuff comes, I'm checking invoices to see if payment's been made. So here's the deal. I don't know what else I have to do when interacting to make sure. There's not gonna be much left. I got to get off of here anyway. I don't know what else I have to do to make it clear when I explain this to people. And I had it written up at one point, and no one read it, so I did it as a video. And now I'm dealing with the same thing over again. Stuff shows up with no previous. And there's some people that I have been dealing with like that are long-term customers, guys that have been around for a long time that I know personally, and things like that. Like Matt and Nico, if there's any payment, we worry about it at the end. But those are very, very few and far between. So then there's the other, like people get upset. I keep telling them, like, hey, did you get this done? I was like, I haven't even started. Well, why not? I was like, it was very clear in the email that you have to pay up front. If things show up and either the note isn't there or I find that I haven't gotten payment, it goes to the end of the line and stays at the end of the line until either I have time to get in touch with you, the customer, or you reach out to me and I can get it taken care of. Because like this week I could easily do it, but the fact is I haven't gotten a response back from a couple of these people. So their stuff is here, they haven't paid, and I've just made the command, I'm not starting anything if I haven't gotten paid. Because it's just, it's too easy. It's too easy to wind up forgetting and not getting paid. So I mark everything. If it's not paid, it stays at the back of the line until either I have gotten a chance to get a hold of the customer. And I've been trying, guys. It's not like I haven't tried. I've been trying to get a hold of these two people for better part of a week. So the other option is that I just, oh, hey, I was getting ready to, that's not any of the ones I was talking about, but I was going to let you know today. And it's done. Would you, hang on just a second. While you're here, David, hang on. I needed to open up that garage door anyway. So guys, David's knife came out really nice. So redid the hardware. That was a nightmare. I am not going to lie to you, David. I have to figure out what. Oh, ho, ho, ho. It's a little more. I couldn't hit the color exactly I was looking for. It's more of a green. It's much more of a green than I wanted, but I'm going to explain to you why. Each one of these screws, Elliot and I were talking about it. Each one of these screws, he thinks could be a different material and just slightly different. And I was like, well, why? And he's like, because we looked at it, and when I was doing all the polishing and stuff like that, the screws would get this weird pitted look to them, and I just couldn't get rid of it. I tried blasting them and doing them over to try and see if I could get some of that material off, but you see that little pitting areas and stuff like this? One of them is worse than the other. This screw, this screw, this screw, and this screw all turn different colors at at the same voltage. So I had to go back and do each screw individually and match it to the other one. So what Elliot is saying is that there's a lot, no, he said it's not weird. He says a lot of times now companies, to be able to provide higher quality stuff, what they're doing is for hardware, they are taking recycled titanium. So it might not be all AL4V titanium. He said it could be something different. He's like, he told me what it was. He said, which is basically recycled AL4V titanium. So they take scraps, they recycle it, and then they reforge it. He says, well, with that, you get some inconsistencies. He's like, it doesn't always want to do. So he's like, I would bet that that's probably what they did. And he says, and screws and hardware anyway have a tendency to pick up heat in the milling process, and then you get spots that don't want to anodize. And I was like, each one of them, all four of those screws, I had to do individually. So if you were to take all four of those screws and line them up, you would notice that they're not exactly the same color. They're as close as I could get them. And so to get them to match, I had to go a little higher in voltage, get a little bit more green than I did blue. But the flip side of that is, I actually think it came out better because it gives you a much better contrast with that ocean blue. Where you gotta go, Dwayne? It's not like you gotta go anywhere. I'll give you a call a little bit later. And I put a little bit of extra lock bar tension on this. So you will feel that that you get a little bit more drag on here. Lock bar tension. You said you like a good stiff detent. So I put a good bit of lock bar tension on this. So I will get with you. I actually still have to sit down and figure out. Your hardware took me, well, your hardware is what I was working. Your hardware was what I was working on all night. And then still had two. When Elliot showed up at the shop Saturday morning, I still had two screws to match. Those pivot screws were the two hardest out of the whole thing. So, I mean, basically I worked all night just on your hardware. But I was working on other stuff. I don't want you to think that I was working straight through. I would put it in the drill press and polish it and then etch it again, and it just wouldn't come out the way I wanted. And that's when I got to where I decided I had to, the next, like towards the morning, I was like, you know what, I need to do just each one individually, and then just walk the voltage up until I hit the exact color I want. So there was a lot of polish it, etch it, anodize it, polish it, etch it, anodize it, polish it, etch it, anodize it. I hate hardware. It's like my least favorite thing to do. What do you think of Kaiser knives? Kaiser knives are okay. There's been kind of a shift in the Chinese knife industry, in my opinion. So if you were to have talked to me a year, maybe 2 years ago, I would have said that in the knife world, as far as Chinese made knives, that Reate held the crown, followed by WE, and then Kaiser, and then a couple other ones like Bestech. Well, what has happened is over the last year or 2 years, some Reates are still amazing. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, they still have some really good top end stuff. But I think that WE Knife Company has stepped their game up to a point where I think they're ahead. I think they're ahead of Reate, and not so much in the, I'm looking at it from the OEM perspective of somebody that's working on getting knives produced and things like that. They're faster. They bring things to market quicker. They make more volume, and their prices are a little bit more reasonable. But the flip side of that too is their quality is not lacking. So it used to be Reate. Now I'd say that WE and Reate are probably on even playing field. And now I don't think Kaiser's quality, the last few I've seen, Kaiser's quality has dropped. They're still good knives, but it's like, if you're to look at it and compare it to, you would say WE is like Chris Reeves or Chris Reeve Knives, or some of the more well-known quality companies, Reate and WE are. And then when you start getting down to like Kaiser, you're looking at like CRKT. Not horrible knives, just not the same. And then Bestech, who was the dark horse that fucking came out kind of out of nowhere. I'd never heard of Bestech. And they are producing really high quality knives at a really low price. So the last couple Kaisers that I had, like I said, Kaisers come in and it's like hit or miss. It's shotgun pattern. Either it's really good or it's really bad. There's like no middle ground. And then there's, like I said, Bestech. There's a couple other Chinese companies that are doing really good work, but they're more suspect. Like I would be more suspicious of, I would be less inclined to do any work with some of these other companies. The stuff that they do is good. It's just that I see, what do I want to say? How do I say it? I see that those designs are the ones that wind up on like Alibaba and things like that from some of these other companies. You know what I mean? Like they're really well done knives, but they're still copying. That was one of the best Kaisers ever, was the Begleiter. That was a really nice knife. I did like that. I had one and sold it and kind of wished I hadn't, but then, you know, I've got so many other knives that I carry on a regular. So I have a knife here that I have to try and sharpen as a test. This is that thing that Elliot and I were talking about. This is interesting. I can't show you because it's not even a real thing yet, but I've got to try and sharpen this. The blade's not steel. The blade is tungsten carbide. So it's a tungsten carbide laminated blade. So the actual cutting edge is a type of tungsten carbide. And so there's different grades of tungsten carbide, different hardnesses. And so what I'm trying to see is, how does this sharpen? How does it sharpen on different stones and things like that? So I've sharpened things close to it before. And now that I've got those diamond matrix stones, I've actually sharpened a couple ceramic knives, but you know, it's still a nightmare. It's still a pain. So we're gonna see. Elliot already test sharpened this thing that I can't show you on silica carbide. So he does know that it's he does know that it is a, what am I trying to say? He knows it will sharpen on sandpaper, so I should have no problem sharpening on that stuff. So we will see. And then David, I'll get with you about this. I just got to sit down and do the math on, because we really didn't pay anything on it, did we? We talked about doing a down payment once, and I don't think we ever did it. We just kind of let it slide. So if you're still here, I think we pushed it to the end because I told you, I was like, you know what, if we didn't do the down payment, then we'll just handle at the end. So, all right, guys, I'm off of here. I've got stuff, I got to get stuff set up. I already have stones in the water because I'm using some water stones today. I got a couple of razors to sharpen, so that's why I like hanging out. I'm not in such a rush. The main thing that I've got to sharpen is actual straight razors, so they actually have to soak in a bucket of water with baking soda. So they've been in the water for almost 2 hours now. So they should be almost ready to start sharpening some straight razors. You gotta let them soak real good. Gotta let them soak real good, or they dry up, and then you don't get the finish you want. So guys, if you like the videos, give them a thumbs up. If you don't like, give them a thumbs down. Tell me why, and I'll probably, no, I won't. You know what? I'm not gonna do that. I'll just put a link to my daughter's GoFundMe down in the thing below, in the description below. You guys take it easy. I'll talk to you later. I find the button. There it is.